And Abruzzo, we just came back for a little journey in Abruzzo and Marche with Giulia, Armando, and Dario Cappelloni, and a really silent sound guy. We do this little documentaries. In this specific case, we tried to tell a story that is between regions. And you have to understand the regions. I don't know if the same thing in US or in France or wherever you come from. But in Italy, regions has been created in the last 70, 80 years. And some of the borders are not really precise. Somehow, something, much harder and violent happened in Africa. In Africa, after the independence, most of the countries in Africa were divided based on colonial reasons. I wouldn't say it's the same thing in Italy, but for sure, when we talk about the border between Piceno and Abruzzo, or Molise, or Basilicata, for example, we're talking about kind of borders that are difficult to determine. And so, especially if you see, we talk about Montepulciano. Montepulciano as a grape variety, not the one from Tuscany. Montepulciano is present in both in Piceno and in Abruzzo. So we did this documentary that will be published possibly in a couple of months, where we compare the two of them. And on one side you have the Loreto Prutino and the area of it's actually the northeast part of Abruzzo, where we have famous winemakers like Valentini, like Emilio Pepe. Sometimes we put Valentini and Emilio Pepe in our collectors club. And Masciarelli he passed away a few years ago. He's still a great winery, bit more modern style. Valentini is a 500 years old winery, like Emilio Pepe is another 300-400 years old. We're talking about wineries that have, a big amount of land, more than 100, 200 acres when we talk about Valentini, I guess. And they also produce olive oil and others. They were families, famous families, noble families, and when we talk about Valentini, probably coming from Spain. And the Fermo is one of them, but that winery was somehow a bit abandoned, and was reinvented and brought back to life by the Nicoletta De Fermo and Stefano Papetti. Stefano Papetti is an agronomist and an enologist, and he was passionate about wine. He was lucky enough to marry Nicoletta, in the sense that they found each other, I guess, because she had this incredible farm with a lot of vineyards, but they were making wine a bit more like for quantity and not for quality. And they did something that happens quite rarely in the world, in Italy slightly more, where someone that could produce 100,000 million bottles decided to produce only a few thousand. And they also produce grain. They do like pasta. This is actually the two different versions of Montepulciano, level 1 and level 2 wine club. The first one is on concrete, so it's cement vasque, so it's a bit more, it's lighter than this one here, Prologue, that is a bit more concentrated, slightly younger vineyards, and it's a wine that is more refreshing and slightly more tight. I think also slightly lower in alcohol, not 14, and this is 14.5, slightly, well, still. While Prologo, this is the typical bold, ink, strong type of Montepulciano. Montepulciano is a big grape variety. I love it, but it's so difficult to make an elegant type of wine, and I think this is one of my two favorite, of course, with Valentini. And also Francesco Massetti, he will be part of the wine club soon. You will see him in our YouTube channel soon. I would suggest to go to this with a slightly lighter food, and this is a bit more complex. This is a wine that can go more with game, with a bit of a more spicy type of food. Goes with slightly medium hard cheese and more hard cheese type of wines. I would guess that this is a wine that cannot be aged for more than 2-3 years. I wouldn't say it's going to be bad in 4 or 5, but this is a wine that can stay for like 15-20 years in the cellar. It can be only better and better.